Hey, what if you could pay off all your debt with money that you've already spent or money you've already saved? Does that sound crazy? So in this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover some strategies for doing exactly that. And we're gonna talk about places where you have money just sitting lazy, doing nothing. Let's dive in. The first thing I wanna talk a little bit about is your house. Do you have a house? Not all of you do, but what I wanna do is talk to those of you that do have a house. Because right now, you've got a unique thing going on. Chances are you've got equity in your house. Let me demonstrate. Over the last couple years, the real estate price has gone up. So real estate has appreciated quite a bit. Now, don't get too excited about this because that doesn't always continue. And I'd be willing to say that that probably isn't going to continue into the near future. But for right now, the good news is your house is worth more than it was last year, a lot more than it was worth the year before and the year before that. So if that's the case, you have something called equity in your house. And that means you've got some lazy money sitting in the rafters of your house. I always like to say, you got lazy money sitting on your couch, but you're out there working hard, putting in the long hours, hustling because that's what you've been told to do. You've been told to trade hours for dollars when your money, because of the appreciation and the pay down of your mortgage, sits there lazy on your couch, eating your potato chips, drinking your soda, and laughing while you're working. So what we want to do is we want to look at that equity. Now, here's how it works. Let's just assume, and I'm just going to use round numbers, that somebody's got $100,000 in equity in their house because of this appreciation going on right now. If you got $100,000 in equity, most banks will give you roughly about 80%. Now again, there is some urgency here, so I want you to look at my watch. It says now. This is when you'd want to act on this. If you could take 80% of that, that means you got $80,000 in lazy money sitting in your rafters. Okay, now let's flip the side. Over on the other side of the equation, chances are you've probably got some debts. Most Americans, 73% of them, actually it's probably higher now, have debts. And those debts come in shapes and sizes such as credit cards, which are the worst. Okay, so I want you to think about your credit cards. How much in credit card debt do you have? Now, maybe not just credit cards, but also, those cards that you use to buy clothing, those cards you use to buy just about everything. Gas, furniture. You've got credit cards for everything. Let's just assume that it's $10,000. Most credit cards, and especially right now because they're raising interest rates, most credit cards are coming in at about 20%. Oh, you got one of those 0% ones? Well, that won't last. So let's just discount that for now. Coming in at 20%. And let's just assume you're making the minimum payment, which maybe is $250 a month. Okay? Give or take, maybe it's a little less, a little bit more. This $250 a month represents 20% interest on a $10,000 credit card. Okay? So if that's the case, this money is completely leaving your family every month. But we've got all this money up here sitting there, $80,000 that can be tapped into by using a HELOC. Okay? A HELOC, ran out of room there. A HELOC stands for Home Equity Line of Credit. And banks love giving these out, at least they do today. Now, this might change as the market deteriorates because what's happening now is the price of your house is actually starting to go down in value. Now, you still got a few months before this happens. Right now, we are October of 2022. We are seeing house prices start to go the other direction. Why? It's not because of demand. It's because the Fed is raising interest rates. So if your house price goes down, now would be the time to tap into this $80,000. Now, a lot of people are like, yeah, but interest rates are higher. Higher than what? Are they higher than 20% for that credit card? You might even have a car loan. Maybe your car loan's 6%, and maybe your car loan's $20,000, and your payment might be $500 a month. So let's just start putting all of these debts in order. Maybe you've got an unsecured line of credit, and that's another 10 grand. And that might be 8%. And if it's not 8%, it probably will be soon. And if that was the case, maybe that's a $250 a month payment yet again. But we could keep layering these all out however they are. How nice would it be just in one swoop to pay off all these debts and recapture all this money? That is $1,000 a month that is leaving your family every single month. We're not going to be able to keep all the $1,000 because here's what I would suggest you do. To pay off all these debts, we tap into a home equity line of credit, which most home equity lines of credit cost you nothing to get. So you can go to your bank and you can apply for a home equity line of credit as long as you've got decent credit and you've got a relationship, and you should shop a few banks for this. You could probably get a HELOC right now between 5 and 7%. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at this interest rate, 5 to 7%. This is simple interest, okay? Meaning the bank is going to charge you just the interest on it. So you're paying simple interest, which is the best kind to pay for what we're going to do. So you take the home equity line of credit. The bank gives you $80,000 and they give you a checkbook to tap into that line of credit. So because the bank wants you to use that line because that's how they make money. But what you're going to do is all you're going to do is you're going to shift that money. You're going to take $10,000 and you're going to pay off that $10,000 in credit card debt. That's going to free up 20% in interest, $250 a month, which you're then going to apply that to the home equity line of credit. You're then going to take the 20 grand, you're going to pay off that car. Now I know the car's 6% or wherever your car is, but it's the cash flow, it's the volume, the velocity of your money. What we're going to then do, take that $500 and you're going to apply that to your home equity, and then you're going to pay off this line of credit because it's a higher interest rate than what the cost is. We're always trying to make a spread, folks. We're trying to make a positive spread. Okay, and in each one of these, if let's just come up here and just assume that it's 5% for that home equity line, 5 minus 20, you're a 15% positive spread here. Okay, 5 and 6, you're a 1% positive spread, plus you get all the velocity of this $500 because this is not simple interest. And then 5 minus 8, you get the drift. All we're doing is we're counting the spread. So once we've knocked off all your debts, all this excess money can do one of two things. Number one, it could just be applied to pay down that home equity line of credit, which may not be a bad way to do it because let's get all that equity back in your house. Or you could use some of this excess money to then go invest. You could use it to do other things. You could use it to save for an opportunity. Remember that opportunity fund that I did in another video, segregated accounts. Folks, this is just one example. Now, if you don't have a house and you're like, yeah, that was good and great, but I don't have a house, I rent. Great. Let's move to the next thing. How about a 401k? All right, let's move to the second component. Now, if you don't have a house, do you have a retirement account? Do you have a qualified retirement account where you work? A 401k, a 403b, a 457? Well, let's talk a little bit about that. What I want to do is teach you how to be the bank. So your 401k was done because you want retirement. But remember, we talked about all those debts that you had, and all those debts, we used credit cards at 20%, we used a car loan at 8 or 6%, and we used just an unsecured line of credit at 8%. Remember all those? It was $250 a month, and then it was $500 a month and $250. Total was $1,000. So let's keep all things the same. This is how much money you're giving away to every single month to somebody else. Okay? So that's bleeding at these interest rates. Now, your 401k, your 403b, and your 457, my suggestion would be let's take a loan from that. If they allow, you got to go to HR or call your 401k provider and ask them, can I take a loan? And if they say yes, the amount will be $50,000 max or 50%, whichever is greater. Okay? So you can take up to $50,000 or 50% of your 401k balance. Now let's just assume, all things considered, let's assume that you've got $100,000 in your 401k so that you can take a max of $50,000 as a loan. Now, when you take a loan from your 401k, there's some very important things you must understand. Number one, that loan needs to be repaid back. And if it's not, you're taxed, and if you're under 59.5, you're penalized 10% on that money if you don't pay the loan back. But let's just pretend you're going to be an honest banker and you're going to pay your 401k back. There is also interest that they're going to charge. Now that interest rate is going to vary depending on what, where prime is and what, but let's just call it 5% for all intents and purposes today. If you take a $50,000 loan from your 401k, they're going to charge you 5%. But now the question I want to ask you is, who gets that 5% interest? Is it the 401k provider or is it you? Ding, ding, ding. For those of you that said it's you, winner, winner, chicken dinner, you're right. This 5%, when you get charged that in the monthly payment, goes back into your 401k. So you are recapturing the interest. You get to keep that. So it's almost like a guaranteed 5%. Now, how many of you right now, October 2022, would love 5% on your 401k assets? I'm not trying to poke the bruise, but I'm sure you're probably down. So this would be a good way to do this. And now a lot of people would say, oh, I'm not going to do this right now because my portfolio is down. I don't want to sell low. I get it. But are you going to lose more than any of these? So let's just assume we take the 50 grand and we pay off the credit cards, we pay off the car, and we pay off the lines of credit. We take the 250, the 500, and the 250, and we roll that money back to repay your 401k. Again, it's all about the spread, folks. This is even better than the home equity line of credit because the spread is bigger because it's not 5 minus 20. Because remember, who does the 5% interest charged on that 401k loan get paid to? That's right, you. So you're keeping the 5%, plus you're recapturing and recycling the 20 from the credit cards, the 6% from the car loan, the 8% from that unsecured line of credit, whatever yours are. Folks, it's all about a positive spread. And using a 401k loan is even better because the interest is going back to you. This is you being your own bank, but this is also a very smart way to get rid of debt using money that you've already spent or money that you already have. You just have to be consistent and persistent with how you handle and use your money. The biggest obstacle most people have when it comes to money is the way that they think about it and the way that they use it, folks. I just showed you two suggestions or two examples of how you could use your money differently. Now, if this fits your needs and goals, if you have debts that are high interest rate, do this because it will help you. But never, ever, ever steal from your bank. So don't take loans from your home equity line of credit and then not pay those loans back. Don't take a loan from your 401k and then go blow the money that you just paid off from those debts. Take the money that you pay off, be an honest banker, and pay it back to wherever it came from, the home equity line or the 401k loan. Folks, if you liked this video, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I want to teach you more, and this was just the pimple on the elephant's butt. So make sure you subscribe to this channel, click the little alerts button, and smash that thing so you're notified every time we go live. See ya.